and we will make America great again. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't you ever be sad. Lean on me in times of bad. When the day comes and you're down, and I'm in trouble, and I'm about to drown, just hold on. I'm coming. Hold on. I'm coming. I'm on my way. If you get cold, yeah, I will be your cover. Don't have to worry, 'cause I'm here. Don't need to suffer, baby, 'cause I'm here. Just hold on. I'm coming. Hold on. I'm coming. Hold on. I'm coming. Hold on. I'm coming. Look at it. Reach out to me for satisfaction. Yeah. Look at here, Dave. That's all she got to do. Call my name and for reaction. Yeah, 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 Now don't you ever be sad. Lean on me when the times are bad. When the day comes and you're down, baby, the river trouble and I'm about to drown. Just hold on. I'm coming. Hold on. I'm coming. Don't you worry, I'm coming. Here we come. Hold on. I'm back to say I'm coming.
In the far distant land of common sense, a place where we all once lived, you'll find the Conservative College with Professor Toto. It is here where the foundational principles of our great republic are still taught and true patriots are still educated in the hallowed halls of this school of hope. Just like the iconic puppy from The Wizard of Oz, who found great joy in pulling back the curtain on the lies of the wizard, so does Professor Toto. Grab your seats and welcome to the Conservative College. Class begins now.
America. Hello, hello, everybody. Wake up. Good evening. Wherever you are, it is 8 o'clock Central on the beautiful Gulf Coast of Mississippi, just outside of New Orleans. And I am your humble, neighborhood friendly, fluffy professor, Professor Toto of the Conservative College. And you are a student in one of the greatest classrooms in America. It's where you learn truth and you are founded on a firm foundation. I want to welcome you all. If you're a new student, welcome to class. We're looking forward to a great class tonight. A lot of things to talk about, a lot of breaking news I'm fixing to tell you about. And so good evening. Grab your beanbag, get in class. Hello, Adam Wingo. Hello, Renee Linscomb and Darlene Houston. Hello, Amy Donahue and Eileen Kushan. Hello, Melinda Jorgensen and Amy Donahue. Ange Garachi, Sandra Brawlier, Janice Hardy. Hello, Diana Carter. Hello, Kathy Clark from Kansas. Wow, you know, we like Kansas here on the Toto Show. Yeah, keeps us out of the land of Oz. Hello, everybody. Kimberly Chris, Delaware Deplorable. Hello there. Nice to meet you. Judy Glidden, good evening, my friend. Donna Young, Diana Hernandez, Margaret Hernandez, Jill Sidock from Michigan. Hello, Anna Andrade from Florida. Josie Sonolongo. Hello, Ed Holman from Florida. Good evening, Teresa Kaufman from Ohio. Linda Garner, Tupelo, Mississippi. Hello, Karen Fisher. Hello, Stacy Olson. Vicky Rasmussen from Colorado. Hello, Linda Andreas from Illinois. Hello, Audrey from Georgia. Oh, Lord, on and on and on and on they go. Welcome, my friends. Thank you for being here tonight. Let's see. Where do I even start tonight? Let me give you a real quick update of our monologue tonight. You don't want to miss it. You definitely want to be here when the monologue starts in about 20 minutes. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Joe Biden, Barack Obama's avatar. I'm going to just, if you'll look at the graphic that we've brought tonight, it says everything that I need to say. There is Barack Obama, and he is in his secret cave operating his avatars. And there they all are on the screen before you. So you do not want to miss tonight's monologue. We have a lot to tell you about in that monologue. Real quickly, before I go any further, if you have not registered for our retreat, the Feast of Tabernacles, it starts in 27 days, I believe, in Gunnersville, Alabama. If you have not registered, you can still register free of charge. There is no charge to register. Simply go to registerfortabernacles.com. There's the QR code right there. Registerfortabernacles.com. We start at 6 o'clock in the evening on October the 4th. It's the Great Feast of Tabernacles, and we will carry on all the way through the 8th of the month. So please, folks, I want to see you there. I'm looking so forward to seeing every one of you. We have some major breaking news that I'm going to go over right now with you guys. It's coming to us from the great state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin, one of the battleground states. Now, before I read this to you, I want to remind you where Professor Toto has always stood on the 2020 election. I've always told you from the beginning, the very beginning, that the 2020 election, had it not been for COVID-19, then there would have been no changing of the rules for the election. Let me just reiterate. Many of you already know this because you're faithful students. Some of you may not. In order to fill out an absentee ballot in America, every state's a little different, nuances, but pretty much you have to make a choice to wake up, get dressed, go down to the courthouse, and abide by whatever obligations are of necessity to cast a mail-in ballot. For example, if you're indefinitely confined, that means you're in a nursing home, or you just cannot get out of bed, you're dying, but you still want to vote, then you can do a mail-in ballot. If you are working at the polls that day, you can do a mail-in ballot. If you're in active duty military and you're going to be, not able to attend, you can get a mail-in ballot. You sign your name on the affidavit. You vow under penalty of perjury that you have met those redeeming qualifications. All right. Now, most people, let me take that back. A lot of people in America don't want to get up and go to the courthouse because they got warrants down there. And or they're on probation, or they're on parole, or they're whatever, whatnot. They just don't want to go down to the courthouse and see the popo. So anyway, so they don't even go. You have another group of people just too lazy to do it. So therefore, we're able to have some fair elections. We're able to go by the rules. All right. You already know that what happened with COVID. And by the way, if you have not watched my teaching called The Calculated Creation of COVID-19, the calculated creation of COVID-19, you need to watch that. And it will help you to understand why COVID was created in the first place. And let me just show you how to find that. Go right here to FHTV and type in the word calculated. There it is right there. Hit enter, and it's going to pull up for you right there. The gig is up. The calculated creation of COVID-19. The gig is up. So anyway, if you go back and watch that lesson, make sure you watch Obama's bloody footprints right after you watch that one. And it'll bring all the missing pieces together for you, because that's what we do here at the Conservative College. I'm Professor Toto. What does Toto do? Toto goes to the curtain of lies and jerks back the curtain and reveals the truth to you. So anyway, in those lessons, I taught you why COVID was calculatedly created and the purpose of what it did in the election. Every Democrat I know, every liberal I know will confess to you that were it not for COVID, Donald Trump would still be sitting in the White House. Now, so my point is, I always told you, if we can get in a court of law, we will be vindicated. We won't sound like a bunch of conspiracy theorists. We won't sound like a bunch of fruitcakes if we can ever get in a court of law and show what happened. And tonight, I told you so. Oh, I told you so. Ladies and gentlemen, in the state of Wisconsin, you have been vindicated. I have been vindicated. Let's go take a look at that ruling that came down today in the state of Wisconsin. Today, there was a tremendous win for Wisconsinites, and it sends a strong message to bureaucrats who disregard the rule of law. What have I taught you? The difference in a democracy is the rule of the people, whereas in a republic, it is the rule of law. And we told you that's what happened in 2020. The rule of law was absconded and ignored, and secretaries of state took the place of state legislatures. And now they're being called to account. Let's read this article. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's from the Federalist. I'm going to pull it up so you can see it on your screen, and we'll read it together. You have been vindicated. Headlines: Wisconsin, unauthorized use of federal voter registration form violates state law. Fraud vitiates everything. Now, what does it mean, unauthorized use? Only the state legislature, and we'll go back and read the article in a second, only the state legislature can determine the rules for voting. Only the state legislature, not the secretaries of state. The law must be obeyed for the votes to be valid. So again, let's go back and let's see what the court said. The Wisconsin Election Commission illegally, oh, I love that word, illegally used a form that was not authorized in accordance with state law to do what? To register new voters. A state court ruled on Tuesday. I told you so over and over and over. I told you so over and over and over. I told you so. I told you what was illegal was the forms that were used. They changed the rules in the middle of the game. Writing for the Waukesha County Circuit Court, Judge Michael Maxwell ruled that the WEC, which is the Wisconsin Election Commission, did not properly authorize the use of the National Mail Voter Registration Form to register new voters by mail. They broke the law. Ladies and gentlemen, we told you that 3 years ago. It's taken that long for a court of law to tell us what we always knew. Now, it is unfortunate that time and time again, Wisconsinites have to go to court to force state agencies to do what? Follow the law. Today's win is a tremendous victory for Wisconsinites and sends a strong message to bureaucrats who disregard the rule of law. Now, my question, you have just ruled that every vote that came in on one of those forms was illegal. Fraud vitiates everything. Illegal means fraudulent. What happens? Now, folks, now do you understand why we said to Mike Pence, hold off, wait, hold everything. Let Wisconsin take out those votes that are illegal and send the new results within 10 days to the Senate. And then you vote for president. I mean, really, folks, do you not see that we are completely 100% vindicated? Judy Colson, that's the $1 million question. What will become of it? That's the $1 million question. We know that a court has ruled the votes are illegal. Mike Pence knew they were illegal. He is a traitor. So, folks, we have a court ruling that says what we always said. You know, it's just something else. Also, we have more breaking news here that is really disturbing that I want to talk to you about real quick. This is coming from the Gateway Pundit. Enrique Tarrio. For those of you that don't know Enrique, he is an American hero. Enrique was just given 22 years in prison. Yes, Tom Chambers, I'm aware of Kerry Lake, what happened there. I agree, Ange Garachi, reinstate Donald Trump. I agree. Somewhere, somehow, this gumbo pot has to explode, you know? So anyway, let's talk about Enrique real quick because he just gave an interview to the Gateway Pundit that is very chilling, to say the least. Let's see if we can't pull it up for you. Right there. He said that the feds, that would be the FBI, asked him to lie about President Trump in order to indict President Trump. They asked me to lie about President Trump in order to indict him. Enrique told the Gateway Pundit, I told them to pound sand because I refused to lie about President Trump. It cost me 22 years of my life. The truth is, I could have went home, said Tarrio. I could have been home a long time ago. I could be in my warm bed right now, laughing at the world without a problem. All I had to do in order to do that was lie about Trump. All I had to do was confirm a lie. And then he tells us what lie they wanted him to confirm. And let's read it together. He told us that the prosecutors in the DOJ attempted to coerce him into signing a false statement that would implicate President Trump by swearing that through several degrees of separation and connections, Tarrio had communicated with Trump regarding plans for January the 6th. In other words, sign right here that you communicated with Trump, that he told you to do this, not necessarily that you talked to Trump, but through various means of separation and connections. You know, talk to him, he talked to him, he told you, he talked to. And so just sign here that Trump sent the message for you to do this, and you go home. Lie to the nation. Thank you, George Wages. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. When Donald Trump returns to office, I hope the minute he makes his inauguration speech that he turns around and pardons this man immediately. What a sad state of affairs. Sad, sad state of affairs. I need to, hey, Deborah Oliver, welcome to class. Good to have you in class tonight. Thank you for joining us. I agree, Darlene Houston. I want to show you guys something, something you heard first here in the Conservative College. About a year ago, you heard something first here. And I want to read to you an email I just got from a lady, and I've marked out her name so you can't see her name. She says, "Hello, Professor Toto. My friend Sandra and I have been searching for your class about Barack Obama, the one when you taught us about Obama's upbringing and about his homosexual babysitter. We cannot find it, probably because the title of the class does not have Obama's name in it. You probably saw Tucker's interview. Larry Sinclair says he had a night of crack cocaine fueled sex with Barack Obama, and that Obama came back for more the next day. This is most definitely an I told you so." Ladies and gentlemen, she is correct. You heard it here first before you heard it here.
Just a guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party.
Yeah, pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this.
I'm not playing the rest of it because we have children watching, but the man goes on to describe how the night ended, and you can imagine. You heard it here first. We told you a year ago about these dark, and you're going to hear it tonight. I'm going to teach you so much more even about Barack. But ladies and gentlemen, the chickens are coming home to roost. The truth is coming out. But remember, we raised our voice to you years ago about Barack Hussein Obama. And I promise you, it will all be revealed. Now, I need help. I do not remember the name of that class that she is asking about. But I know that some of my good students take notes of all my classes. So if there's anyone out there that remembers the class or the date, when I went through, it was about 3 weeks, I went over his life story. If there's anybody out there, please email me, brothervon@gmail.com, and I'll email her the name of that class or the date of that class anyway. So anyway, all right. So that's another I told you so. We got a bunch of those I told you so's tonight. Well, here we go with some more I told you so's. It's going to be a fun night. Get ready for the party. This, ladies and gentlemen, is just in time for the election. The election infection, as I've told you last week, has returned. And I want to show you how the messaging is going out. You're being prepared for the great moment that's about to arrive. Watch closely.
Done with COVID. We know that.
We will be encouraging, as I have said before, Americans to get their updated COVID-19 vaccines. We know that these vaccines work, right? We know when people stay up to date with their vaccine, that works.
Who needs to get a booster and when?
So all of us need boosters. So 6 months of age and up. We're going to have boosters by the end of this month.
As you can see, Whoopi is not here. She has COVID. Yes, it's back. It's back.
It's back.
President Biden tested negative last night for COVID-19 and tested negative again today. He's not experiencing any symptoms. Since the president was with the First Lady yesterday, he will be masking while indoors and around people.
Act of service to the nation and his comrades in arms.
Yesterday, he will be masking while indoors and around people.
No mask in this other video as he was leaving that event. Not sure why he would need one to go in that exact way, but not to leave.
I mean, we all know that this mask thing is a complete joke, and it's
yet you were
virtue signaling.
You were seeing quite a few Democrat leaders, not just in the White House, but also at the state and local levels, trying to reinstitute mask mandates, even with all of the evidence that mask mandates don't work.
It's because of people like Joe Biden that we don't believe in the masking. I'm sorry for all of my haters that are watching, for all of those of you that will take clips out and post them all over the internet tomorrow. We would have believed in masks if y'all would have believed in them. But it was Fauci that begged us not to wear them. Nobody remembers that, I'm sure. And then when you look at this video where Joe Biden was going to wear a mask indoors to protect everyone, he's standing there by an 81-year-old American hero not wearing a mask. Drop the hypocrisy. Stop. Just stop. You look dumb. You look ignorant, and you expect us to be dumb and ignorant because you are, and we're just not taking part in the COVID games this year. Not going to happen. All right? Hey, I got a big shout out tonight for two of our viewers that just signed up yesterday or a few days ago for the Patriots Buying Club. And they were talking to some of our workers, and they were telling us how much they love our show. And the workers were so touched by these faithful viewers. Of course, they signed up to help us at the Patriots Buying Club. I hope you have. If you've not done it, then really, what are you waiting for? Go to buybuywalmart.com right now, and we'll call you and get you involved with that. But I want to thank these two patriots, Larry McElroy. Larry, thank you for talking with Pat. Thank you for all the kind things you said about me and the show. We appreciate you so much. And then Linda Shelton, another brand new Patriots Buying Club shopper. These people shop with us every month. 10% of their purchases come to the Conservative College. They support a Patriot-owned manufacturer, and it's just a good thing all the way around. So I appreciate Larry McElroy and Linda Shelton. Ladies and gentlemen, your gas prices will soon be going up. Why? Because of your brilliant, not so brilliant, fake president. He just canceled all of the oil and gas leases in Alaska that President Trump had implemented. Now, let me tell you why he did that, so you're not in the dark. He did that because his approval numbers are so low. Today, he dropped down to 39%. He had been hovering at 45, 42 for a long time. Today, 39%. He can never, ever win the election with those kind of approval numbers. So he did that for the left wing of his party, that he will have to secure them in if he plans any chance of winning in 2024. So there you go. Alex Soros, the son of Georgie Porgy Soros, they are losing their minds. They are vowing to direct all of their finances to the defeat of Donald Trump in 2024. They have made an announcement in the last few days that they will prevent Trump from winning at all cost, whatever it costs. You don't have enough, sir. Drain your bank account. It still won't be enough to stop the unstoppable. The unstoppable. You cannot stop what Yahweh has started. That after they've spent a lot of their money. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, for my viewers that live in, I got an email here from a viewer, and she lives, or there, anyway, let's see where this is at. Let me see. There is a gospel or a Christian concert that I want to promote real quick. These people are Toto viewers. They're part of Toto's army. She said, "Dear Pastor Vaughn, greetings to you in the name of our Father Yahweh and his son Yeshua. My husband and I have been faithful followers, students since November 2020. We want to thank you so much for your leadership, encouragement, and wisdom." And then she goes on to tell us about this event called the Sunrise Music Festival in Virginia Beach, Virginia. It is a festival outreach that the Lord birthed in my heart at the age of 36. My late husband was 37. The grief and the pain was very hard for me when I lost my husband. And she goes on to tell how she started having this event every year. I would like for anyone that lives in the Virginia Beach area or within an hour or two drive to go to iTickets and get tickets for this Sunrise Music Festival. September the 22nd, coming very quickly. And I know that y'all would enjoy it. It looks like a great event. And so I'm going to recommend it. I'm going to encourage that for any of you that want to go. Go, okay? Get over there to West Virginia. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Go to iTickets and go to look for Sunrise Music Festival. Let's go support one of our fellow patriots. Let's support what she is doing for the Lord. Amen. So it's an exciting thing. So yeah, let's do that. I think that would be a good thing for us to do. I love helping people. I love supporting other people. It's always a good thing to do when you support your fellow patriots, your fellow brothers and sisters. So we have some news here that I want to share.
We've had testimony and there's emails. There's more evidence of more meetings where Hunter was told that they needed to call Washington for help. We've had Devin Archer testify and say that. There's evidence that points that the Burisma executives were squeezing Hunter Biden to call Washington for help. So we know that Hunter Biden was communicating with the White House. This email that you just posted was one of many, and we believe there are more that the archives are sitting on, where the Hunter Biden legal team, the Hunter Biden PR people, the Hunter Biden's shady characters who were paying him were communicating through him to his father back and forth. There was no wall between Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden and his shady business dealings.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have traitors in the White House. We have traitors in the White House. We have traitors that have sold their influence. They have sold out America. And more and more is coming out every single day of what's going on in the White House. And now there's more information about those fake emails.
That because it happened during the Obama administration, that Barack Obama will have 30 days to review all 5,400 of these emails in the pseudonyms. And then he will decide whether or not he's going to turn it over to the House Oversight Committee. So your guess is as good as mine. But at the end of the day, we believe that many of these that were using the pseudonyms also had redactions that pertain to things about Hunter Biden, even redacting the fact that he was copied on these. So what Joe Biden's always said and the mainstream media has always gone along with is that, well, there was no, why are you investigating Hunter Biden? He wasn't a part of the government. And Joe Biden had a firewall between the government and his son. That's not true. We've proven that in the last 2 weeks. There are emails that went back and forth where Hunter's legal team was telling Joe Biden how to spin the narrative about the corruption he got caught in. There was copies where he was copied about Ukraine foreign policy. And we believe there are many more emails that the National Archives is sitting on.
I'm going to break that down real quick. All of those 5,400 emails, guess who has them right now? Comer just told you. Guess who has those 5,400 emails? You guessed it. The most powerful man in the world, Barack Hussein Obama. An out-of-power president is reviewing these emails. Are you even kidding me? But let me tell you why he's doing it. I'm telling you, folks, Barack Obama, Joe Biden are at war with one another. You know that Joe Obama made a mistake when he decided to run again after he wasn't supposed to. You know as well as I do the only reason Hunter Biden, by the way, it was announced today, he will be getting felony charges for gun charges now. Remember, we had a Trump-appointed judge that didn't like the plea deal. Now they're going for 10 years felony. But here's the deal. Do you believe for 1 second any of that would have happened without Barack Obama allowing it to happen? There's about to be a strategic move. Obama cannot allow Biden to run again. And yet at the same time, he cannot stop him from running because he is the Democratic nominee. So what do? We get access to these emails that have your name all over them. We make a phone call and say, Joe, listen, you know I have the power to make sure no one ever sees these emails. They'll never see the light of day, Joe. But Joe, we have a problem. You know Hunter is going to get convicted. You know that's going to be another thing against you in the election cycle. Joe, what do you want me to do with these emails, Joe? Because I've got the power, Joe. What should I do with the emails, Joe? What should I do? That's a lot of power, friends. He's got the power. Do you understand that who's got these emails? Barack Hussein Obama has the emails. Yes, he does. He's got the email. So now it's negotiation time, isn't it? It's time to negotiate. That's exactly where we are right now. Negotiation time. We're at the time of negotiation. But you see, here's the deal. And I want to try to explain this to where you can understand it. Joe Biden is running because they know Kamala cannot win the election. They know that. That's a given. Everybody knows that. Democrats know that. So the hope is that Biden will pull it off again. Here's why. Biden now knows the reason his son is going to go to prison is because of politics. He knows because he is in the White House, his son's going to prison. Now, he cannot afford to pardon Hunter during the election cycle. That would be devastating. So here's the plan. Run, win, pardon, resign, and Kamala is the president. He's going to run on that with that mindset. Now, that's barring any unforeseen circumstances that might happen, death or sickness or anything like that. Barring anything like that, that's the plan. However, Barack has something else in mind, someone else in mind. and now he's got the emails. Sit back and watch. This is going to be the most interesting election cycle that you have ever lived through your entire life. It only gets better from here, folks. Trust me. It only gets better from here, because I'm telling you, folks, there is a plan in place, and I'm fixing to talk to you about that plan. There is a plan in place. Watch this.
Margin of error, no clear leader. Donald Trump 47%, Joe Biden 46%. They're basically in a statistical tie. But what I will note was there was not a single poll conducted by CNN during the entire 2020 cycle in which Donald Trump got a higher share of the vote than Joe Biden did. So this is a vastly different picture from what we saw 4 years ago.
Democrats and the president's hopes for re-election in 2024. Still early, but Biden's approval rating has sunk to 39%. Nearly 60% of voters think Biden's policies are making the economy worse. Close to 70% of Democrats want somebody else to run for president. And the president's approval among Democratic voters, that's slipping.
Yeah, these are all very troubling for the White House. This new CNN poll shows no clear winner between President Biden and nearly all of the leading Republican presidential candidates.
We're 14 months away from his re-election effort here when Election Day happens still, and this is a rough snapshot. You noted his approval rating is at 39%. 61% of Americans disapprove. This is our brand new poll.
Right now, today, I think a lot of Democrats look at these numbers and say the whispers are finally showing up in this data. People are talking behind their hand. They worry about Joe Biden. Joe Biden's like that grandpa that you love, that you believe in, you owe a lot, but you start to wonder, would you give this grandpa a high-stress job for 6 more years, or would you want something else for him?
Are you prepared to be commander-in-chief?
Yes, I am.
God help us all if you're prepared to be commander-in-chief. Adam Wingo just said something that I didn't realize. Don Bongino agrees with the theory that I just postulated. I didn't know that. Do y'all know I've never one time in my life ever watched a Don Bongino episode? I've never watched Don, not even when he was on Fox. So I didn't know if that's what he said. I've never watched one episode of Don Bongino. I don't watch anybody really. I'll go to like Gateway Pundit and Epic Times and look at different articles, but I don't watch anybody because I try to just zone in and understand from my own perspective what's going on in the world. But I'm glad to know that Don actually agrees with that, because that is what's going to happen. I'm sorry, somebody said it's Dan. But anyway, so that's what's going down. Now, this lady just said that they know Biden's out. They know it. Her plan, she just said, is to be the commander-in-chief. Now, I want you to watch your future commander-in-chief.
Very strongly about the importance as a general matter of engaging in U.S. policy as it relates to foreign affairs in a way that we pay attention, of course, to the immediate concerns and threats if they exist, but that we also pay attention to 10, 20, 30 years down the line and what we are developing now that will be to the benefit of our country.
I'm sorry, that was me trying to shoot myself. Can anybody tell me what she said? It was a big word salad to me. Anyway, she's ready to be commander-in-chief. All right, everybody. I'm going to be back in 30 seconds for tonight's monologue. You don't want to miss it.
So let us begin the celebration and the ceremony. There's silence on earth, but the heavens are roaring, telling the story of the coming glory. Can you feel your heart begin to race? Can you see the tide begin to change? With all of our futures rearranged, the world will never be the same, for God is with us. God is with us.
back there, I do wish you would come and spend that week with us, October the 4th through the 8th. You can go right there and sign up right now, free of charge. Tonight, I want to talk to you and help you to understand what's behind the curtain. Before tonight, or before today, when I begin to study for my monologue this evening, something hit me like a ton of bricks. I had an understanding I've never had before. I never quite understood why I got this whole persona of the Land of Oz, Toto, Professor. You know, this is all satirical. It's just fun. It's a brand. It's a, the golden apple and, and Toto and, all of that. I would never have picked any of this stuff. To be honest with you, I think I've watched The Wizard of Oz once or twice in my life. It's not something I focus on. It was never part of my vernacular. It was never, all of a sudden, 3 years ago, this entire parable, if you will, began to consume me. I did not know why until today. I did not know how prophetic this show and its miraculous creation would be for this season in American life. I just thought we were being cute. I just thought we'd come up with something catchy. The Conservative College, the Land of Oz, the Yellow Brick Road, the Munchkins. I just thought it was a good brand. We did pretty good with creating a brand. The curtain, pulling back the curtain, and the dog, the little dog, and the man behind the curtain. And then the big man on the screen. Yeah, Land of Oz, remember? They come in. On the screen, there's the face of another man. But behind the curtain was the presence of the one that was controlling everything. I did not know at that time that God was literally giving me the parable for the 4 years of the Biden presidency. Until today, I did not realize the man behind the curtain is Barack. You see him there? Do you see him back there pulling the levers? Do you see him back there controlling the man on the screen? You know why that is? Because Joe Biden is Barack Obama's avatar. All of a sudden, I knew why God had given me this parable. Because my voice would be used for these 4 years. Now, when God's done with me, you'll never see Toto again. I don't know when my time is up with all of this. But you'll turn on one night and never see me again. Because God will be done with me. Being a voice to America, I have revealed to you through this parable the entire 4 years you and I are living in right now. And I had no idea. Even till this very day, I didn't know what my show was all about. But God has raised me up to expose the man behind the curtain. For the voice of truth to go out. For the voice of truth to go out so that you could know the truth and not be persuaded by the lies. It's all been a parable about the man Barack Obama. He is the man that rules the United States of America right now, Barack Obama. Many people are beginning to wake up to what we've been teaching you for these 3 years. Joe Biden is Obama's presidential avatar. Yes, Biden is the congressionally certified president of the United States. Notice how I said that. I did not say he's the legitimate president. I said he is the congressionally certified president of the United States of America. He is a usurper, and I want the whole world to hear what I'm about to tell you, because you're about to hear the truth. Joe Obama is a usurper. He has usurped the throne of the American presidency from her legitimate president. And yes, it's Joe Obama's picture that will go in the history books as the 46th president. And yes, he is the guest of honor at all the banquets that he attends. And yes, he is technically running for re-election, despite the fact that his campaign is literally non-existent. It's impossible to overlook the fact that the man's mental health is in a free fall. As a matter of fact, he has spent 40% of his presidency on vacation. He's often tired and confused. I showed you the video last night where he left the meeting not knowing what world he was in. And yet, in spite of all of what I just told you, somehow massive things are getting done at the White House. Unpopular, self-destructive, immoral policies are getting ramrodded through the Congress, through the separation of powers, through the checks and balances, not to mention tens of millions of concerned citizens who are finding themselves in deeper debt. Bidenomics is destroying the nation, and they're being oppressed by this non-existent person called Joe Biden. The man wielding this power, brothers and sisters, is not the man in the White House. It is not the man on the screen whose mental, physical, political, and criminal vulnerabilities are now on full display. And yet, he's destroying a nation when he doesn't even know what world he's in. Because the man on the screen is not the man that's ruling the nation. It is the man who is taking advantage of that pitiful, vulnerable man behind the scenes. Barack Obama is that man. After Barack Obama was no longer president, he was presidentially unemployed. Immediately, what did Barack do? He went on to use government agencies that he no longer had control of to spy on and frame his successor, the sitting president of the United States of America. The man literally does not leave Washington, D.C. Do you not know that every other president is so anxious to get out of D.C. and fly back to Vermont or California or Mar-a-Lago, anywhere but the swamp? And yet Hussein Obama chose to stay in his swamp so he could keep control of it. He remained in D.C. strictly to sabotage the Trump presidency. He stayed there to help engineer the COVID crisis. He stayed there to push through these election changes to make sure that these mail-in ballots were sent out all across the nation. He stayed there to falsify the 2020 election. January the 5th, 2017 is the official start date of a coup led by Barack Obama against the United States of America to undermine a duly elected sitting president of the United States of America, Donald John Trump. January the 5th, it started, the coup. But January the 5th, 2025, that coup will come to an end. Here we are, September 2023, and we're still in the death grip of that coup. America is still controlled by the instigators of that coup. And now, despite the fact that journalists have been unwilling to cover Barack Obama, giving him nothing but praise, people are waking up. Journalists have had a remarkable lack of curiosity about Barack Obama, and this has helped him in his intention of staying out of the headlines. But he's in my headlines. He's been in my headlines for 3 years because I know who it is behind that curtain. Obama's goal is what? To retain the presidency without being the president. To be behind the curtain while he puts his avatars up on the screen. That's his goal. Whether he does it through Biden, Kamala, or Michael Obama, or whoever else he chooses, Newsom, Barack Obama is working now on his 4th term as the real power behind the presidency. To understand what Obama is currently orchestrating, and it's big, you first must understand what he's done in the past. Let me break it down for you. On January the 5th, 2015, 2 weeks before Donald Trump's inauguration, Obama met in his Oval Office, and I've told you this before, with 5 people. James Comey, John Brennan, James Clapper, and Joe Biden, Michael Rogers, Susan Rice, and Sally Yates. Sorry, 8 people. Let's go over that list again. James Comey, John Brennan, James Clapper, Joe Biden, Michael Rogers, Susan Rice, and Sally Yates. There was a meeting 2 weeks before America's duly elected president would take over the presidency. What did they talk about in that meeting? Joe Biden was there. Susan Rice, who has ran Joe Biden's presidency from behind the scenes with Barack. What did they talk about? We know now. We know the truth, what they talked about. These highest officials, led by Obama, were strategizing about how to continue an illegal investigation on the next sitting president, who would be their own boss. Treason. The next president was being investigated by Obama even after Obama left the White House. Now, what happened on January the 6th, 2017, after that meeting? I'll tell you what happened. There was a press release. The CIA released an intelligence assessment. And what did that intelligence assessment say the day after that meeting? It said that Russian President Vladimir Putin helped Donald Trump win the election. Don't ever let them criticize you for questioning an illegitimate election. They started something they cannot stop. We didn't start this, darling, but we will finish it. We're going to finish it. But you see, oh, the web we weave when we plan to deceive. Now, it was that assessment that started what? You already know, the Robert Mueller investigation and every subsequent legal action against Donald Trump came from that treasonous meeting. You need to know these things so you won't let people play with your head. They were planning to block him from fulfilling his mandate that he was given by 60 million American citizens. We gave him a mandate to govern. They gave a mandate to make sure he could not govern. That was only the beginning of Obama's treasonous activity. That meeting, January the 5th, that started the coup, set off a tangle of political and legal conflict that dodged Trump throughout his presidency. And then the story continues. Obama committed further treasonous acts to ensure that Trump would not get a second term, forcing Trump out of office, using a network of political operatives and the excuse of a coronavirus scare. Obama and his people dramatically increased absentee ballots and dramatically decreased ballot verification, enabling the man behind the curtain to steal the election from Donald Trump in 6 battleground states. Dr. Peter Navarro, that was convicted today of contempt of Congress. Don't worry, it'll get overruled on the appeal. Dr. Peter Navarro, an advisor to President Trump, authored a 3-part report detailing evidence of the theft of the election, which Steve Bannon, Congress still had to certify the election as legitimate. Now, I want you to watch this now. I want you to see what happened. Navarro did the report. The Congress has to certify a presidential election or there is no president on January the 6th. That's when the president is elected. The president's never been elected by the people. Ever. The president is elected by the House of Representatives on January the 6th. On that day, 100 members of Congress, did you hear me? 100 out of 535, basically 1 out of 5, were ready to present evidence of fraud and request investigations of that fraud. They were going to do that before the Congress with the evidence of the fraud in full view of the American people and their representatives. Congress and Vice President Mike Pence would decline, or they could decline, to certify a problematic election. You've got 100 representatives standing up to refute the election, presenting their evidence. That was a lawful, constitutional, and non-violent strategy that Barack Obama could not allow to work. That's why Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund confirmed that the FBI kept Capitol Police officers in the dark about known agitators who infiltrated the protest of the certification on January the 6th at the Capitol building. They also blocked the National Guard support for hours, and that police chief is convinced that intelligence officials were aware of a plan to infiltrate nonviolent protesters. Senators and representatives stood up on January the 6th. They began to debate. Irregularities were being talked about in front of the whole world. All this was going down as they began to lay out the evidence. And then all of a sudden, violence erupted inside. What do we do? The protesters are being allowed to enter the building. All the members of Congress are evacuated. And why? Beloved friend, now all the debate will stop. All the evidence will not get shown to the world. All of the representatives will be silenced because of the violence. Ladies and gentlemen, they were not silenced because of the violence. They were silenced because of the man behind the curtain that helped to ensure that that violence would be allowed inside that Capitol building. Don't look at the avatar. Look at the man behind the curtain. Then, 8 o'clock that night, 127 members objected to certifying Arizona's presidential vote. 145 members voted to reject Pennsylvania's votes. But guess what they didn't get to do? Debate. Why? There was so much violence. We've got to hurry back before midnight. We've got to hurry back. But they were outvoted. Their objections were unheard. And at 3:44 a.m., Pence announced that Biden had won the presidency. What happened immediately after that? The radical left rapidly impeached and indicted Donald Trump for the violence. It was an attempt to convict him and block him from ever returning to the presidency. But what happened? He was what? Exonerated. Now, here's what Professor Toto wants to know. That man was already tried for January the 6th crimes, and he was exonerated. How can he be tried again? Is that not double jeopardy? He was already exonerated. Found not guilty. Their plan was to get him out. The violence was not Trump's fault. It was Obama's plan. Trump needed peaceful debate. That's what Trump needed, was all of these senators, all of it, to give he needed peaceful debate. Obama needed a riot to shut down the debate. And then President Trump, listen to this, tried to use his platform on Twitter to warn the American people what was really happening at the Stop the Steal rally that day. However, the man behind the curtain was in control, we found out now, of Twitter. It was Michelle Obama, Michael Obama. Does anybody remember on January the 7th, Michael Obama demanded that Twitter ban the president permanently? Michael Obama did that. Twitter obeyed him or her within 24 hours. The man behind the curtain. The man behind the curtain. Literally cutting Donald Trump off from 88 million followers. And then what happens? God raises up the richest man on the planet to go and buy Twitter. And what did that man do? He opened up the computer code so that users could prove how Twitter executives were determining what they see and how they were limiting the reach of conservative content. By publicizing internal Twitter documents, Musk and a team of independent journalists proved that Twitter and other Silicon Valley companies were basically subsidiaries of Barack Obama. And now Obama's behind all this lawfare against Donald Trump. Alvin Bragg, the man behind the curtain. It's not Alvin Bragg. Don't see the avatar. See the nutcase behind the curtain. See, the homosexual that fantasizes about men all day long. It ain't brag. Brag ain't nothing to brag about. It's definitely not Jack Kevorkian Smith with his little inbreed looking self. No, it's the man behind the curtain. Jack is his little white avatar. Oh, and don't ever think Granny Fanny had the half of a brain how to do anything. Don't ever think Granny Fanny knew what she was doing. No, Granny Fanny belongs to Mr. Manny. The Manny behind the curtain. I mean, Jack Smith the Ripper is a staunch supporter of Obama. His wife, Katie, made large donations to Obama. Now, my time is gone. I want to end this for you tonight the right way. I want to tell you something. I want you to listen to me. Obama's the man behind the curtain. But I want to introduce to you the man behind the man behind the curtain. Because if you don't get, this is the part where all other podcasters leave off. This is the part where you've got to go. See, we know all that about Obama. But until you know Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12, you will not know the real man behind the curtain. Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, Barack Obama, but against something that controls Barack Obama, principalities. We wrestle against the power that's playing Obama while Obama plays Biden. We wrestle against the rulers of the darkness of this age. Who is that? The fallen angels, the demonic powers, the half-breed Nephilim. We wrestle against things we cannot see, against spiritual wickedness in high places. But how do these spirits get a hold of people? Through an open door. I have proven to you that young Barack Obama was being conditioned by these homosexuals, by these drug-smoking, transgender, babysitter transgender. This young boy that had not the protection of a father. This young boy that his mother placed in him in the care of a cross-dressing babysitter. This young boy began to become conditioned for these principalities to take over his mind. And then those powers, those malevolent spirits, would empower Barack Obama to destabilize America, God's end-time Israelite nation. Just like the Antichrist will get his power from the beast, Obama gets his power from the beast. The beast behind the man behind the curtain. Satan is real, beloved. Satan is empowering Obama to fundamentally transform America, the last great nation on planet Earth, by casting down all morals to the ground. I'm not going to read these scriptures to you, But in the book of Amos, chapter 7, verse 1 through verse 2, you will find the Obama presidency. Remember, anything that happened in the Old Testament is for our understanding because it will happen again. When you read Amos 7, 1 through 2, it's describing an end-time Israelite nation, which America and Great Britain and many of the Commonwealth nations are part of. This nation would become small and weak due to this satanic attack. We're under that satanic attack now. Brothers and sisters, I'm going over time tonight because you must understand when you fight for America, you have to fight on your knees. You have to fight in faith. You're not fighting men. Satan has determined to bring down this nation. But God Almighty, now I just showed you the man behind the curtain, right? And I just showed you the beast behind the man behind the curtain. Would you allow me to show you the God behind the beast, behind the man, behind the curtain? His name is Yahweh. He is the God of Israel. He sits high and he looks way down low, and he loves America. He sent the founders of this nation here to establish this nation for the work of God. Brothers and sisters, I want you to hear me. You and I were given a birthright blessing in America. And when you read Amos 7 and 1 through 2, you will read about the presidency of Barack Obama. Verse 4 of Amos 7 describes his second presidential term. And this has upset the Almighty God. That's why Yahweh looked down when he saw the beast find his man, Barack. Yahweh looked down and found him a man by the name of Trump. What we're seeing right now, beloved, if you don't get anything else I've said tonight, you better get this. We are not in politics anymore. We're not in Kansas anymore. We are in an arena for the very soul, the very spirits of mankind. And anytime Satan, the beast, raises up a man, Yahweh will raise up a man that's greater. When the Antichrist rises, he'll look up to the sky, and there will come Yeshua, the Son of God, to defeat him. It never fails. Ever. Jeroboam, in 2 Kings 14, 26 through 28, Yahweh raised up Jeroboam to defeat the men that Satan had raised up. 6 years ago, Yahweh used Donald Trump to save America from the radical Obama administration that sought to transform us to a godless society. But Barack Obama came roaring back. Why? This is war. The Bible said that Jeroboam, when you read 2 Kings 14, 28, Jeroboam had to war to get it back. This is war. That's why you can never be disturbed by what you see. You can never be alarmed by the arrest and the indictment. It's all war. Trump will have to fight a war to recover his office stolen from him in 2020. God said in his word that we will win this war. Tonight I leave you with these words, and don't you ever forget what I'm about to tell you. Yes, there is a man behind the curtain, and yes, there is a beast behind the man, behind the curtain. But when it's all over and done with, there is a God behind the beast, that's behind the man, that's behind the curtain. God bless you. Good night.
I ask not for riches, I ask not for fame, I ask for the name ask for